This is a public announcement. If you find a confused radio presenter aimlessly wandering the corridors, please return them to Studio 5 on the upper rotunda.
Hutton Orbital Radio. This is not the station you're looking for.
Well, we're not sure what to celebrate first this week. It's like the perfect storm of Hutton holidays over here. The 12th of September is National Video Games Day, Day of the Programmer, National I Work Here Hun Day, I may have added the Hun, National Chocolate Milkshake Day, chocolate, National Day of Encouragement. Come on, get off your collective asses, you lazy shower. There, that's my bit done. National Line Dancing Week, y'all. National Biscuit and Gravy Week. Bring on the custard creams and bisto. National Suicide Prevention Week. Intelligent Automation Month. Although in Hutton it's more like Belligerent Automation Friendship Month. Sleep-Timber. Sorry, my mouse is on the wrong one. And Happy Cat Month to Mooncake. Well, we'd better make a start then.
Well, now that Flossy's woken up from Sleep-Timber, which was an oddly appropriate pause there, our mics are possibly, maybe even slightly live. Good evening. We're back.
Are you sure you're safe?
Yeah, I mean, you really had the lurgy last week.
And I really do not want to go the colour you went.
Or make those noises.
They were horrible. They echoed all around the station. Lots of yarn, blare, and oh, got my insides hurt.
I did not need that mental image.
I'm fine, much better. I've had a lie down and some medicine.
And you did wash your hands, right?
And now, time for the headlines.
Hang on. Please tell me you washed your hands.
Yes, Mr. Dusty sanitised everything else.
Oh, we're doomed.
Where are my hand wipes?
I said headlines. Commander Palantir makes the jump, just not quite how he expected.
Illicit tritium twit in legitimate tritium switch.
Space Jam.
Right result as robber robs wrong person.
And we aim you at the right target, courtesy of the BGS bit.
Commander Palantir, formerly of this parish, was involved in a near-disastrous event of gigantic proportions last weekend. His original mission a trip aboard the saga retirement liner the Sciatica, leaving from the spa resort of Van Maanen Star. Well, it has a jacuzzi and some joss sticks, and heading for Epsilon Indy for some moonlight, then dark, then moonlight, then dark, then moonlight, then dark dining under the stars. Heralded as a haute couture fine dining expedition, the Beluga was fitted with all the latest in comfort for those of a senior persuasion. Donut-shaped cushions, handrails everywhere, and of course robotic assistants at your beck and call. Of course, that's if you were in first class. Anything below that, and you were stationed in the bilges, somewhere, with a bucket and a packet of rather curly sandwiches. The first distress call was received on Friday evening at around 5 p.m. Galactic time. It appears that the liner firm, in an effort to save costs, had rather skimped on the power plant engineering, and after one particularly industrious lady had plugged in her crochet automat, the power plant decided that enough was enough and put up the out of order sign, leaving the Beluga drifting. Van Maanen Star officers of the liner company were contacted for information and asked all the important information like, is anything on fire, and are there any holes in the vessel? After a quick check, everyone was reassured the danger was in the non-immediate bracket, and passengers were told to settle down for a bit while additional support was sent out. 4 hours later, passengers were informed that the beleaguered Beluga was not able to be repaired, and they would have to await a new Beluga to pick them up, diverted from the Sol to Lave route. Commander Palantir, ever industrious, had brought a handy bottle of Chateau de Aegean with him, and with the aid of Mrs. Palantir settled down on his soft donut-shaped cushion with a nice glass to pass the time. After 400 or 500 rounds of I Spy, it was clear that Mrs. Palantir was getting a bit cross, especially as their porthole was facing away from the galactic centre, and there are only so many stars in that direction. Temperatures were rising, the aircon was offline, and there are reports that passengers in steerage were considering drilling a hole in the side of the ship to let all the stuffy air out. Meanwhile, in first class, one gentleman had decided to remonstrate with the ceiling speaker at length, and all the free nibbles had run out. After a further 2 hours, an additional Beluga arrived, the Lave Lumbago, and passengers were informed that as a result of a paucity of escape pods, they'd have to jump between the vessels. Blessed with a good pair of gams, Commander Palantir entered the airlock, took one look in the direction of the Lumbago, and launched himself in that general direction. Or he would have done if he hadn't had all of that wine. Luckily, Mrs. Palantir comes equipped with a handbag full of useful tools and managed to harpoon him from 40 yards back. We won't ask why she carries a handbag-sized harpoon gun, before launching herself at the Lumbago and reeling him in. The Lumbago, already full of passengers from its own intended run, then fired up its engines, and leaving the Sciatica wedged in the O'Connor City toast rack, made its way to Barnard's Star. Palantir missed his dinner. The Lavians arrived about 4 in the morning, and the steerage passengers are still sitting in the bilges.
Cock-ups take all forms. Breaking the 6-second rule, going to a rest site and shouting, "I'll take you all on!" Not looking at the gravity of a nearby planet before attempting to land, then realizing it doesn't say 1G, it says 10G. Forgetting to refuel before doing the Hutton run. Yesterday saw a new kind of cock-up though. Dr. Maidlung, Hutton boffin and astrophysicist and commander of the fleet carrier FTM Isfahan, and known for making exploratory jaunts outside the bubble, hunting for new exobiological specimens, stellar phenomena, and a bit of peace and quiet. He'd taken the liberty of contacting a number of Hutton pilots in advance of his journey, asking to be stocked up on tritium, and located some of his own ready for both the outward and return trip. The problem was that he hadn't specified where the tritium should have been obtained from. As a generally law-abiding citizen of the galaxy, and trusting so, it didn't occur to him that any of it should be marked as illicit goods, given how abundant it is from mining and even purchased from starports. It also didn't occur to him that while tritium in his fuel tanks was particularly legal and usable, His reserve supplies in the cargo hold might be marked as a bit naughty, which they were. And shipboard systems being what they are, which we're sure is a bit of a scam from the Brewer Corporation, they resolutely refused to allow him to transfer the fuel from the cargo hold to his tanks. Apparently, without a legitimately illegitimate secure trading upgrade from Brewer, it's just not allowed. Something to do with rinsing the tritium to remove any dodgy stolen marks. Q1 called a Hutton HQ and a rather plaintive, help guys, I'm 14,000 light years from civilization and I'm stuck. His rescuer, one Montgomery Python, with a big barge and a plentiful supply of tritium to get the FTM Isfahan back home, following behind in his own carrier full of illicit tritium. He stopped off to refuel the Isfahan every 4,000 light years or so, or at least to an approved brewer outlet to pay for the privilege of using all the tritium on board. This is a reminder to any commanders out there with carriers. If you're going to deal with illegitimate goods, you need to do it legitimately. And pay your dues to the galaxy's biggest fence, the Brewer Corporation. Oh, and Monty was a bit miffed to find out that the bar was closed.
Talking of lessons learned, a recent foray into the galactic forums turned up a discussion about Newtonian physics, and one particularly disgruntled commander stating that the galaxy was fake and all space travel is simulated, even going as far as to state that none of the galaxy has actually been explored and humanity is stuck in a virtual environment. Their proof? Spaceships don't follow Newtonian physics. They don't carry on at a constant speed when you take your finger off the boost button. You can't accelerate indefinitely. Commander after commander was at pains to tell him that this was as a result of the safety systems in ships not allowing you to do these things, and ships being pre-programmed with flight models that don't bake your noodle when you try and work out what direction you're travelling in, and can actually fly in space without bumping into everything or needing a PhD in vector direction of travel mechanics. The offending and offended commander maintained that it was all nonsense and it was all fake once again. Evidence was presented by the aforementioned Dr. Maidlung, who has proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Newtonian physics do indeed apply in space, whether that's moons orbiting planets, or moons orbiting planets, or ships orbiting moons orbiting planets, as it is just the right height over the moon and just the right velocity in just the right direction, you can take your hands off the flight sticks and perform a perfect orbit. So, a number of enterprising commanders managed to bypass the safety systems aboard the offender's ship for him and suggested he took his ship out for a bit of a spin. He duly accelerated to around 5 times the normal maximum speed of his ship, performed a perfect 180-degree flip with the flight assist off, then flipped again to the original direction he was travelling before colliding with a nearby passing Type 10. At which point he experienced rapid deceleration. His seatbelt was about as effective as cheese wire. And the last thing that went through his mind, other than the windscreen, I might have been wrong. Passing medical ships have scraped up what was left and put him into the autoclonomat, which has the words, "We told you so," etched into the little window above his face.
For followers of the BGS news, which of course is coming up in a bit, Narenses has been suffering from an outbreak of what is known in the trade as pirate attack. The situation is now resolved, but it has left many in Hutton Space questioning quite how bright certain space pirates are. For the last week, Hutton has been hosting the annual Galactic Independent Forces Police Administration Conference, or GIFPAC 3310, The collected chiefs of various local factions, their senior security advisors, and representatives of independent systems throughout the galaxy descended on the Renses for the conference with their entourages. So you would think that the worst place to be a pirate would be in the Renses system. However, while with the Hutton Renses chief of police was giving a speech on an epidemic of antisocial behaviour, theft and space piracy, some enterprising and light-fingered individual made off with her laptop, the stage microphone, the pocket full of credits she always carries, and her earrings, plus her official work ID and her spaceship. Observers were keen to point out that it showed a lot of skill to do it all while not being caught on the spot, but the police chief was rather engrossed in the auto cue and putting her point across. The culprit was apprehended before he left the station's no-fire zone, and has been arrested by 5 separate police faction forces on suspicion of taking a ship without consent, burglary, and being a sneaky son of a gun. They are currently arguing who has jurisdiction, though it appears that Hutton are winning that particular discussion. The Renses mob, known local pirate faction, have been at pains to point out that it wasn't one of their members that executed the brazen and rather dopey bit of burglary, as all of theirs were robbing the power regulators from Borwin's astrophysics laboratory at the time. And they've also been arrested and are awaiting trial on having too few brains to be allowed to use scissors with pointy ends.
Welcome to the Hutton BGS bit, where we beat our heads against a brick wall of understanding in an attempt to make sense of all the happenings in Hutton systems. Well, we expanded into LHS 1604 and it's very nice, but there is a problem. There's another player group there, and as you know, Hutton policy prevents us from taking over a system owned by another player group. Putting the special in Special Forces are the Sirius Special Forces group. They are the big knobs in LHS 1604, so leave it be. The other high-flying systems seem to be settling down a bit now the expansion has happened. Some are still a wee bit high though. LP 532-81 and Georgie's Pants are the only two above 60%. How about that? There's a Boom in the Hag Hole, and also in Treppin, Wolf 25, Wolf 1481, Wolf 562, Wolf 359, Epsilon Eridani, 36 Ophiuchi and Barnard Star. Infrastructure failure continues in Kokari. I mean, come on, let them have some new toasters and a couple of pot noodles, you miserable so-and-sos. There's an outbreak in Stein 2051 and also in Wolf 294. We have elections in LHS 450, LHS 3531 and Wolf 629, where we could win our first piece of real estate in each system. But what does it all mean? I don't know. Well, we can only guess, because we're not very good at this stuff. If you want to truck it, then truck machinery and food to Kokari, or maybe run some missions to support one of those elections. If you want to shoot it, then listen into Vulkarius' bit, where he will tell you what to shoot and where to shoot it. And that's it for this week's Hutton BGS bit.
Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, dearie me. Right, I don't have plague. I'm not coughing on anybody. There's definitely no funny noise coming out of me. I'm feeling much, much better so far. Anyway, how is everybody? We're back. Did you enjoy your week off?
Yes.
And how was your Toulouse sausage this week?
It was delicious, as always.
Nom 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 nom. Oh, with these sausages, you are really saucisson. You are really spoiling us. Yes, but
magnifique.
Magnifique. Yes. They schmecked me good. Oh, wrong language. Yes.
Yeah, it was big and long. It was big and it was long and it was curly.
It was big. It was yes. And that's enough.
And you had a sausage.
Yes. Well, we are joined in the studio this evening by the Apology Officer. Good evening, Apology Officer.
Hello.
Hello. We
Hello.
have Commander Flossy.
Hello.
Hello. We've got Amelia.
Hello.
We've got the ever mellifluous Vulkarius.
Good evening, Hutton Orbital.
And we've got Lithobreaker.
Hello.
Hello. So we've got a full house this week. So, right. Frontier Livestream. First question we ask every single week. What was in it this week?
No one.
No, that was last week.
What?
Yeah.
Well, last show.
If there was, I'm guessing it's the roller coaster, which really should be a VR game, but that's beside the point.
The roller coaster VR game.
If they made it a roller coaster VR game, everybody else would be making the same noises as David was last week.
Yes.
No, it occurred to me. Well, if there was, I'm guessing it's the Planet Coaster or Planet War 2 or whichever game it was. And it occurred to me while saying it that it should be in VR. So.
Well, there was one, wasn't it, just before our last show 2 weeks ago, I think,
It was,
possibly,
yeah.
because there was lots of something we'll mention in a minute in it as well. But yeah, and there was an article, that they published some kind of news article about a bit of a sale going in various stores, I think, at the moment. They put an article out, what was it, on the Twitterage or something. I'm sure they did. Here we go. We're pleased to announce, this is from the 9th, the launch of our Elite Dangerous Game Store sale page, featuring savings of up to 30% on a range of cosmetics, but don't hang around as these items will only be available for a limited time. Now, I don't know whether that's the items will be available for a limited time or the prices, but I'm just browsing through. There's the Asp Speedway Blue. There's the Type 6 Overdrive Pink. That's the one with the palm trees painted on it. Beluga Liner Emissary Red. What else we got? There's no purple. I can't see any purple. There's the Diamondback Explorer Mechanist Ash. That's grey to you and me. Yeah, the sheer... Oh, actually, I tell you what, the Anaconda sheer line looks quite nice. With the lines down it. There's a Polarity and all sorts of bits and pieces in the sales section. But if you go to the store, you can see all ships, fleet carriers, commanders, and sail. Yours for only 4,200 arcs if you want a Vanguard Iron Anaconda. There you go. But it's just paint jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, a tactical
Paint jobs.
Crimson Chieftain.
Yeah, because when normal crimson's not enough, you need tactical crimson.
Well, it's not very crimson. It's sort of a muted, dull red.
Yeah, it's quite a dark red.
That's to make it better at sneaking up on you. That's why it's tactical.
that's more tactical. You don't understand, do you?
Well, that's the word. That's what the tactical means. Then it's not as red, not as crimson as it could be.
It's crimson but darker.
Yeah. So if you go to elitedangerous.com/store/catalog with no UE on the end /sale, then you can see the sale items. So that was the other news, and then what else did we miss last week? So there must have been something in the Galnet news. I mean, we didn't play anything from Commander Wotherspoon. Let's have a look. Oh, it was about serious stock fluctuation. After unhinged
there was that.
patterns. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I do like how the universal response to that was that Sirius clearly need to acquire more hinges.
Well, yeah.
Literally posting hinges.
I mean, it's all about, loads of momentum following the SCO frameshift drive, at which point their share price plummeted, which just strikes me as bonkers. Everybody's buying our stuff. Oh my God, the company's ruined. It's, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they've been selling them at a loss. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe SCOs are actually a loss leader to try and get people to buy ships. I've got no idea.
Maybe somebody's done something.
Yeah, a company insider described Lee's obsession with Achilles as unhinged. Okay.
They definitely need more hinges then.
But Pranavantal, we were talking about all these guys 2 weeks ago. Pranavantal has warned that Sirius personnel are not welcome in utopian communes. Okay, it's all getting a bit leery out there. But obviously, we got there first with the inter-faction grumbling a week before this news, so clearly there's something prophetic going on. I don't know, something to do with power play maybe coming soon? Possibly? Which is maybe why they're all mentioned. Could be. And I just read the next one about Jerome Archer being naked, but it's not. Jerome Archer and Nakato Kane. But that was from August. I don't know who they
They were
are.
both naked. What were they doing together?
Well, increasing supporters, apparently.
Increasing something.
Yeah. Definitely not coughing at all. Okay, other than that, I mean, not much else been going on in the galaxy. I mean, we're going to find out, Vulkarius, in a bit what's been going on with the Pew Pew versus the Thargoids. I know the Galnet News has been giving out Hutton-style dire warnings about, well, are they actually ever going to fight back? Possibly, ? No.
We'll find out if and when they do.
Yeah, I have some news on that.
You have some news. Well, we're playing catch up when predicting the Thargoids' next move. Well, everybody else might be, but we've got a Vulkarius and you don't. Ha ha ha. Other than that, we released our latest single. It hit the top of the charts. Yes, we did. By popular demand. I think a couple of weeks ago we did that Mandalay poem. You know, the Kipling ripoff that we did. And a bunch of people out on the Galactic forums, as they do, say, that's rubbish. I was expecting it to be set to music. So we did. And then we emailed it to the designers of the Mandalay. And then they emailed back to say, we've got it on repeat while we finish designing the ship kits. So anything wrong with the ship kits, you can probably blame us. But... it was quite a nice email to get back that they loved it, big thumbs up and whatever. The thing that surprised me was how well Kipling's meter and rhyme fit a certain style of music. Because this year, and in fact this week there's a celebration, is how many years of Elite now?
1984, 1994,
Oh, yeah.
2004.
Fingers run out.
40 years.
40 years since we first set out flying in the Elite universe, or some of us did, those that are old enough to remember it.
That's not funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny, especially when I remember being old enough to play it when I first got it. Now somebody on the Galactic forums, we're talking about them a bit, sort of came up with hey, we should do something to commemorate this. Let's all go to Lave. At which point, Drew Wagar turned it into, I'm going to Lave on my live stream. So apparently there's something going on in Lave. I think they're taking food to Lave tomorrow, possibly. I think, maybe. And doing a bit of a streaming lore, this is what Lave is, and trying to explain why Lave used to have noob hammers on the side of it, but now doesn't. Because if you look at the picture, they all fell off.
Those got nicked. Yeah, they all got nicked by someone. You can't trust those.
Kept killing the noobs.
Well, no, it didn't originally have noob hammers, and then it got noob hammers, and then the noob hammers got taken away. But there was a bit of a story about it used to have a really good agricultural economy until, remember that plague that hit Lave back in the days? Remember that one? There was a CG. Flossy, you might remember.
I thought you were talking about Lave Radio.
No.
there was a pathogen that hit Lave. Oh, it was ages and ages ago. It was the Cerberus plague, wasn't it?
Is that the one they had to start bringing in like farming machinery and things like that?
Well, no, wasn't there some special...
Oh, is that the one with the...
Agroponics or something?
Yeah, agroponics or something, yeah.
Yeah, I think it may have hit the Lave... Anyway, but so Lave got hit by this Cerberus plague, I think, if I remember right. And you had to bring tea. I think the solution for it was tea. Ceremonial hikey tea.
Oh,
but apparently its agricultural economy never recovered. So basically they've got Lavian brandy and fish or something, and that's it. So I think the plan by the community was to go and take as much foodstuffs and things that might fix it to Lave as you can, in the hopes that maybe magically it might get its agricultural market back. I think it's not going to work, but lots of people getting together, always a good thing.
Yeah.
So, actually, back talking about the Mandalay thing, though. Shall we?
Yes.
Is there anybody here who hasn't heard it? Vulkarius, did you hear it?
Wait, will you hear what?
The Dreams of Mandalay, the poem we did the other week, set to music.
Not set to music. I remember the poem, but I haven't heard.
Oh, so this might be a treat for you.
Sorry.
Well, given that it's 40 years of Elite, we thought we would see if we could set it to music, I don't know, in a style of its era. And what was around then? It was big hair, it was smoke machines on the stage, it was morning cartoons, if you're my age. And so we thought we'd give it a go. So if you don't mind, I'm going to clear your mics for a second and hit play on this. Hopefully it plays okay. Here we go. This is Dreams of Mandalay, with apologies to Rudyard Kipling and to your ears.
station, looking out to the abyss. There's a ship that I am craving, and its name I can't dismiss. For the hum is in the thrusters, and the trade lanes always say, soon you'll fly your Hutton trucker, soon you'll hail the Mandalay. Soon you'll hail the Mandalay, let the Aspen Python lay. Can't you hear the engines roaring from the bubble far away? Dreams of flying Mandalay, where the stars so brightly play, and the void calls out like thunder, far from Sol and away. Shipyards in these busy stations don't have what I need or want, though the anaconda's mighty and the python's cool and gaunt. But the Mandalay is different, built for roaming wild and free. She's the one that sets me dreaming of the places I could be. Dreams of flying Mandalay, let the Aspen Python lay. Can't you see her engines glowing, cutting through the Milky Way? At the helm of Mandalay, where the galaxies display, and the cosmic winds are blowing, taking me so far away. I see ships of every kind, from the Cobra to the Clipper, but none of them compare, no, not to Mandalay, the skipper. She's got curves that glide through space dust, and a frame that holds the line. She's the dream of every trucker, longing for the ship so fine. Dreams of flying Mandalay, let the Aspen Python lay. Can't you feel the stars are calling, lighting up the coming day? At the helm of Mandalay, where the void will guide my way, and the galaxies are turning evermore and night to day. When I'm sitting in my hauler, plodding on from dock to dock, I can't help but think of Mandalay, the ship that time unlocks. She'll be fast and she'll be sturdy, and she'll take me anywhere, from the farthest edge of nowhere to the stars that none yet dare. Dreams of flying Mandalay, let the Aspen Python lay. Can't you taste the thrill of flying, far beyond the pilot's sway? At the helm of Mandalay, where the space lanes stretch away, and the stars like gems are shining in the black and endless gray. When I fly the Mandalay, where the dreams of stars are made, where the void is never silent and the nights don't ever fade. And when I'm there with Mandalay, she'll be my guiding star through the endless void of darkness, where the galaxies are far. Dreams of flying Mandalay, let the Aspen Python lay. Can't you feel the future coming in the shimmer and the sway? At the helm of Mandalay, where the stars will light the way, and the Mandalay is waiting at the dawn of a new day.
I enjoyed that.
Hey.
Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah, we had Commander Sneever say, I've been away too long. You folks got good. No, that was Mr. Dusty on guitars there. He's got untold skills as Mr. Dusty.
Yeah, that was quite... So that was quite an interesting mix. That was kind of like a cross between an anime intro song and 70s to 80s Judas Priest, kind of.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably where all the cartoons lifted it from. So, yes, there was a sort of a comment coming through, oh, well, AI writing all these songs. No, we wrote that. We actually spent a lot of time writing all those lyrics. And, yes, Mr. Dusty was on guitars there, or the Dusty Bot. But, yeah, it's amazing how Kipling's meter and rhythm and rhyme actually fit that kind of tune.
Yeah.
The
certainly did.
The sequence of his words and the chorus bit, the repeated lines, whatever, just seemed to fit a perfectly acceptably 40-year-old sounding children's cartoon song.
The Watchers not only sinned against God
by
leaving their heavenly abode and defiling themselves with human
What? We got videos going off. Where's the audio coming from? That's a bit random.
Doesn't appear to be me.
There was some random audio. There was a voice. I have no idea what he was saying, but it scares me. It needs to be in Guitar Hero. What it needs to be, Flossy, is in Beat Saber.
Yeah.
I can imagine you going the full thing in Beat Saber to that one. It's quite up tempo, though.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it in full Expert Plus mode.
Well, we'll have to...
That game on which I tired myself out not an hour ago on Into the Dream on expert mode.
All right.
Well, we'll have to speak to. I think it's Dead Meat GF who's our resident Beat Saber expert.
He is, yes.
Yeah. But by the way, apology officer, are you there? Oh no, we have a mute apology officer. Probably Scarpa was on.
I'm unmuted.
You're unmuted. I was just checking, because obviously all of our articles are loosely based in fact. Our very first one there about Commander Palantir.
Yes.
Did he ever make it to Glasgow, by the way?
He did make it to Glasgow. We met him on the Tuesday night.
When his ship broke down.
Myself, Kevin, we met him on the Tuesday night. The night after he arrived, yes. So we met him there for some food, which was delicious.
And he did drink all his wine, didn't he, on the train?
Oh, I don't know. He never mentioned his wife.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
dear.
Everything you heard in the article was mostly true. But yeah, and apparently the train that came to pick them up was then full of other people coming from London, so it was a bit squeezy. But then there were about 5 other trains backed up behind it because it blocked the line because it was completely dead. This train he was trying to get to Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was in Scotland. He was about half an hour from Glasgow.
Oh, it was Carlisle-ish.
Yeah.
No, he was further up than Carlisle.
It was near, what do you call it? Lockerbie, wasn't it?
I thought he was further up than that.
So he could have actually walked.
I think the problem was that somebody said there were only 11 stops left until they got there.
Yeah, he was... I'm going to breeze over that. He was a maximum of about an hour away from Glasgow, and it took him 5 hours to get there.
Ouch.
What did he do was bring a train up to the side of his train and open the doors and put ramp.
And they had to jump across. Yes.
No, they put a platform across so they could walk. But they had to walk. They had to all go up to the front of the train and walk across and get back down into the other train. So yeah.
He just heard there were going to be some cool spacewalks this week, hadn't he?
Yeah, that was pretty much a spacewalk.
We were walking over a space. But
yes.
Talking of that, we've got some space news coming up. Apology, officer. Are you vaguely clued up and ready, as is Litho and everybody, if I hit the magic button and switch to space news?
No, but that's never stopped me before.
Okay, fine. I'm going to hit the button.
Likewise.
When you don't know
Music everywhere this week.
Space news, 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 space news.
I think my poor PC is struggling with something. Struggling terribly.
Oh dear.
Hang on a second.
The start to the space news question.
Pardon, what?
Go ahead, Jim.
The obvious start to the space
news.
The obvious,
question. Yeah. So I was just trying to.
Yep, they're still there. The Starliner capsule come back though.
What? So hang on a second. They left them up there.
Back,
the capsule
still there.
Correct.
Right.
But it could have destroyed itself on the way, and they didn't want to it.
So. No, they're quite right. I wouldn't have got on it.
Not a chance.
But the gaffer tape held, and everybody's okay now.
So did the capsule that came back down actually make it down okay, and would they have actually been okay?
Yeah.
Yes, according to what's been announced so far. So, yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't sort of boil them alive inside it.
No, it didn't. It didn't hit the earth like a fireball or anything.
No, it did parachute down nicely and go soft.
Yeah, it did. It did all the things it was.
I think it was a splashdown, that one, wasn't it?
The problem is they didn't manage to test things like whether it would have fed them oxygen on the way down, which could be a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So I think the next article. So they're going back up to get them in February, but in the meantime they sent some more people up, but it's not coming back with them, is it? It's coming back.
Going too far.
Right. So the first article we have this week is all about SpaceX sending a capsule up that's not going up to rescue them.
Nope. It went past and waved on the way.
Yeah. So it's about a billionaire completing their first spacewalk. So this is all about.
All right. So we're not feeding them to the sea gods anymore.
No, this is you feed one to the sea gods, you blast one into space, you feed one to the sea gods.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I think it's an alternating thing. So yes, Jared Isaacman, Sarah Gillis stepped. Here we go. They actually, there's 4 of them went up in the capsule, wasn't it? Which was the what was the name of the mission that went up? It was the Polaris Dawn, wasn't it?
Polaris Dawn.
Yeah. So these 4 went up in the Polaris Dawn, and it's a private space mission. This one, I think. Mm-hmm. So not paid for by governments or anything like that. And I think one of them funded it himself, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Was it Jared Isaacman?
You mentioned a minute ago.
Yeah. Anyway, and the mission was to go up there on a private space trip and then do a spacewalk, which they did. So it's the first ever non-government spacewalk that's ever been done, wearing specially designed suits.
Was it a spacewalk, or did he just poke his head out, though?
Spacewalk.
Mr. Eisenman emerged first, wiggling his limbs, hands and feet to test his suit. He then went back into the hatch, and Ms. Gillis, who works for SpaceX, then climbed out. They narrated their spacewalk, describing how their suits performed outside of the craft.
They're quite svelte for a spacesuit. They're quite,
They are. I mean, we're used to them.
They're not chunky.
Yeah, having giant backpacks and looking like the Michelin Man, aren't they? The old NASA ones. Yeah,
well, they were tethered on umbilicals, so they didn't need the backpack.
Yeah, but they didn't look like the Michelin Man either. These ones,
there's a picture on the screen. I mean, they're slightly puffy, but you
could probably get those in the Frontier store.
Yeah, probably. I was saying earlier, they look a bit like Power Rangers. If only they painted them different colours,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Here we go. So it went up to the ISS is at 250 miles, Hubble's at 320, and their spacewalk was at 435 miles up. So they were actually
Jings.
Yes.
There's no question of this. Were they really in space, or were they were really in space?
No, they were 185 miles further out than the International Space Station when they were.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd imagine probably because there's less debris up there. That I don't know, or I don't know why, but they did comment.
What was that distance? So you said 180 miles further out than the ISS.
700 kilometers high, as opposed to 400, which is the ISS. Yeah.
So 700. Well, 700 is round Earth imaging orbit height. There'll be satellites at that height. There should. Hopefully, there's not a ton of debris. There's just a load of satellites. Although satellites tend to follow each other, so you get only a few orbits that lots of them use. So you shouldn't have unless you're in the orbit.
So the first views.
Here we go. We've got some pictures on
of
screen
the first ever commercial spacewalk.
There we go. We're climbing out.
The bottom of the mobility crowd is about to go by.
There's a picture of Earth. There we go.
SpaceX. Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, Earth sure looks like a perfect world.
There we go. To paraphrase what he said, it looks awesome from up here, but you lot have stuffed it down there. You really have. Yes. Cheers, mate. But no, really, really well done to them all. So they're not actually going to be docking with anything. I think they're just going to go up there, do the spacewalk, and
come back.
Yeah.
Do a bit of science.
And Yeah, Mr. Eisenman, who funded the Polaris Dawn mission, was the only member who had been previously to space.
Okay.
But the Dragon capsule the team flown in has now done 46 flights to space. And
46?
46, and taken 50 crew in total.
Jinx.
Yeah. But these are new spacesuits that they'd never tested before. So this was a bit of a gamble. Let's just open the hatch, guys. Go on, just pop it open. The rem locks.
I'm sure it's one of those things where they've tested it as much as they can without actually going in space. So, they'll have worn them in vacuums and things like that before. They just wouldn't have been in space.
No. They were fresh out of the box.
Oh, were they?
Never been tried, yeah.
No, they've never been tried, and they're not subject to all the
seen
same
the box?
regulation.
Were they from Eddie Lee Wise and Sons plus his daughters?
New from Eddie Lee Wise, white spacesuits for when you jump out of
black stripy
spaceship.
bits.
Yes.
Ooh, look at the size of that helmet.
Yeah, that's not me umbilical cord. That's me. That's me ego. Yeah, it does have a big umbilical cord. Yes, and apparently the EVA suit incorporates a heads-up display in its helmet, provides information about the suit while it's being used. So it's proper high tech.
Yeah.
I'd imagine this was just
Proper
an
armor.
exercise in trying to flog it to NASA. Like, well, we used it. Why can't you?
Yes.
But it's the same suit you wear during launch and landing, and this is the interesting thing, because previously astronauts, when they're going up in the shuttle or whatever, you had to get out of your spacesuit and change into your big EVA suit, that great big thing with the huge rectangular backpack, and then jump out of the spaceship. But this one is the same suit you can ride up in and ride down in.
Mm-hmm. With the EVA suits in the shuttle, did you not have to climb in the back of them?
Yes.
And get someone to do you up?
Yeah, it didn't so much wear it as pilot it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I think it holds the record for the highest ever spacewalk.
Oh, so they've really gone for it then.
Yeah. Apart from that time, I fell out of my spaceship in orbit round the sun at one point while testing. So, it's exciting because it's private endeavour rather than public money, and that's sometimes where some of the best advances come from is when sort of immensely rich people spend their money instead of making themselves more money on.
I take it then that they launched and landed at a private site. Spaceport.
Well, I mean, they launched it obviously on the big firework off SpaceX's facility.
Yeah. Okay. And then it came back for a splashdown.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they're coming back. Does it say? It doesn't tell me when they're coming back. Maybe they'll just leave them up there.
Oh, yeah, it was the Starliner at the splashdown.
Yeah. So that was the first one. And then the second one, I don't know if... Amelia, you can see this one or not?
Currently, I can't see anything because I have an active Mooncake.
Oh, right. Okay.
This is the one about the huge solar flares.
Giant Bluebird smartphone satellites for AST Space Mobile.
Oh, it's the next one. Right. No, I don't know about
that. So this is the giant smartphone satellite with the enormous aerials on it.
Does it look like a giant smartphone?
Yeah. So AST Space Mobile's first five commercial satellites have reached orbit. And the booster section, I mean, we're getting used to it these days. It's a bit passé, isn't it? It comes back down again and lands nicely.
No, that will never be passé. Seeing two of them landing together is
that was
bizarre.
Cool. Yeah.
That will never be passé.
But apparently they've got, here we go, here's a picture of it, an artist's illustration of a giant AST Space Mobile Bluebird mobile broadband satellite for smartphone connectivity. It's absolutely flipping huge.
You'll never fit that in your pocket if that's a new space mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some idea. Here we go. It is a 2,400 square foot. That's 223 square meter communications array.
Well, how many square bananas or how many curved bananas?
Oh, I've no idea in bananas, but that's 223 square meters is that's big.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's big enough that you could, with the right equipment, actually look at the ruddy thing, or it blot out stars as it passes. But because we've got lots and lots of those Starlink satellites, but this is way, way bigger. And the idea is that it's supposed to give mobile phone signal, get it much better, which, given how O2 do in most of the UK, is only a good thing.
Not difficult.
No.
Yeah, it's a pretty low bar, that beating O2.
Yeah.
You haven't tried to use 3 in Glasgow City Centre, have you?
I haven't tried to use 3 in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Though, to be
you
fair,
haven't tried to use... Oh, never mind.
Does any network work in Glasgow city centre?
Yeah, the landlines.
Yes. Bits of string, couple of cups, you know.
Yeah.
Or just yelling out of your window at the house opposite is probably easier.
No, that doesn't... You don't stand out doing that in Glasgow.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, then
Rather than cups, don't they use tenants' cans with the ends cut off?
Oh, see, this man knows his stuff, yes. Aye. I mean, if you want a vintage one, instead of a vintage telephone, you can get those tenants' cans.
Oh, Bakelite.
Ladies on them. No, the tenants' cans with the ladies on the side from the 1970s.
Oh, yeah, I know the ones, yes. Well, talking of things from the 1970s, flares are back in.
No.
Yeah, especially for Vulkarius and everybody else, and all the adverts getting in my way. Go away, adverts. Here we go. So it's been a busy week. We've had a busy few months for solar activity.
Mm-hmm.
Sun fires off X-class solar flare.
Yep. Increasing aurora viewing chances. We've had a few of them this year. I think we've even had them as far south as Amelia's house. So I'm not sure you saw them, did you, Amelia? Meow, says Mooncake.
No, sorry, didn't.
No, didn't. Well,
I wish I did.
Yep.
Well,
apparently geomagnetic storm possibilities. So this was 3 hours ago. They published that there was an X1.3 class solar flare erupted from the western edge of the sun on September the 12th. That'd be today. And this obviously article's written, hey, look, we in the US can see it, but I'm pretty sure if they can, we probably will be able to as well.
Oh, yeah.
There were partial and loss of high-frequency radio signals from sunlit locations.
Yeah.
And
an X1.3 class solar flare. I wonder, how do they class these solar flares?
Well, in X's.
By letter and then number.
1.3 of them, yeah.
Is there like a table or
it's
somewhere where you can find out the scale?
Maybe. It's 1.3 of an X, not like a...
How many bananas? Here we go, look, there's pictures. There's
How
a
many
picture
gigawatts is that?
Yeah.
Enough to go back in time.
What
Just
is
watch
that?
any cheesy Star Trek episode.
What is that in capybaras?
We don't know, but apparently there was also a geomagnetic storm occurred at 10:46 at the G3 level. That's moderate. Which is a third level on a scale of 5. So we don't know. There's a G level and an X level, so we don't quite know. But here you go. Here's a picture of Canada and the Arctic Circle there with a big swirly colouring pen drawn over the top of it.
Canada getting cooked.
Yep, and just see it's not quite hitting North Britain there. If you look over to the right of the picture.
Boo.
Yeah, the Scandinavians are getting a bit, but the North Britishers, unless you're in some of the islands off the north of North Britain. But you never know.
I was going to say, you might get it in the Shetlands or...
Yeah, the islands of North Britain.
Yeah.
But anyway, talking about stars, we've also apparently discovered that stars are bubbly. Which is a polite way of saying a bit chunky. But yes, the bubbling surface of a distant star was captured on video for the first time ever. There we go. They can now directly image details on the surface of stars that are really, really far away. I'm going to see if it... no, it's trying to load an ad. Well done. But apparently we've had our first views of the surface of other stars bubbling away. No, that's Disney. Here we go. Here's a picture of it. So there's a picture on the 18th, the 27th of the 7th, and then the 2nd of the 8th, showing the surface of the star bubbling away there, which is a bit blobby. But those are showing plasma bubbles. So the heat rising from the sun makes these plasma bubbles appear, and the surface of the star, the actual visible light from it, varies. And so they've actually been able to picture it directly for the first time. What was the star they've actually found? It was R. Doradus. Now, I don't know, Vulkarius, you've got access to various star catalogues there, don't you?
I'm sitting in my ship at the moment, so I can choose the galaxy map.
Yep, so R. Doradus is also known as HD 2971 29712 is a red giant variable star in the far southern constellation Dorado, close to the border with Reticulum.
It's in Universal Cartographics as Argyrodus.
Argyrodus, yeah,
and
178 light years.
It's I'm not at Sol, so I wouldn't be able to tell you that. It's from my position, it's 328, but I'm by Titan Raijin. So
okay, well,
in any case,
measured from here.
Indeed, it's an M-class red giant star. So.
Yep. So we pictured it here from Earth, and I suppose you could fly there if you wanted to. But in the infrared, apparently, it's one of the brightest stars in the sky. So it is usually visible to the naked eye, but a visible magnitude of 4.8 to 6.3. But apparently, in the infrared, it's one of the brightest ones in the sky. If you were to point an infrared camera up, you'd see it. In the infrared, it is sometimes the brightest star in the sky, though Betelgeuse is brighter. Apparently, there you go. It's a bit of knowledge for you. Yep, and they said, we never expected the data to be of such high quality. We could see details of the convection on the stellar surface, said Wouter Vlemmings, professor at Chalmers University. So there we go. Bubbly stars and burping stars and spaceships going up and satellites going up and no astronauts coming down. Anybody have any other space news?
Well, I looked up what the classes of solar flare were, but it's not new news. It's only if you're interested.
Well, go on then. What does X 1.3 mean?
X is the most... So there's A, B, C, M, and X. And where X is the most intense and it goes up times 10 for each letter... then within X, they're then classified X1 up to X9. So X 1.3 will be only just within the X range of intensities. But they're pretty rare. It says they can trigger radio blackouts, on Earth that is, radiation storms, GPS interference, possible satellite damage, and geomagnetic storms that can lead to auroras. So it's true.
I should hope so too. I wouldn't like to think they were telling us big fibs. But I was just glancing. CMAs, flares, X-class flares. No, it's quite interesting stuff. And basically, the sun burped, and then we flew through the sort of the stinky burp that it chucked out. So I think the Earth has flown through because it burped away from us, but then we sort of maybe flew through a bit of it, or it flew in our direction.
It burps while spinning, so.
Yes.
So
it throws out an
the
arc.
exhale after the burp.
Yes. Okay. Well, that was mostly interesting. But that's the end of the space news for this week.
When you don't know where to get more space news.
Are you ready, Vulkarius?
Space news.
Because it's your beer. If I can find the button, I've lost it.
Got quite 2 weeks worth of it as well.
2 weeks worth. Is this one of these terms and conditions apply super speedy ones that they read at the end of TV programs because they don't want to spend more money on reading all the T's and C's out?
No.
Okay, right. Well, more tunes. Vulkarius' tune now.
We'll flying high in the black face, the Thargoid threat. Vulkarius leads the way, no fear, no regrets. Guides for Titan's breath, saving humankind. Together we'll defend, never fall behind. Whoa, keep your lasers flare. Whoa, Vulkarius is here, fight the onslaught. No fear tonight. Whoa, Vulkarius lights the fight. Across the stars, our mission so clear. Vulkarius stands tall, there'll be no fear. Navigates the void with his screw so tight. In the darkest space, he's our guiding light. Whoa, keep your lasers lit. Whoa, Vulkarius is here, fight the onslaught. No fear tonight. Whoa, Vulkarius lights the fight.
Seamless.
No, he's headbanging so much to the tune that he's pulled his headphones off. Oh dear.
Seamless.
Said in chat, hold on, lost sound.
He's back.
Yeah, check.
Way!
Okay, welcome back to Story Time with Commander Vulkarius. Sometimes Commander Vulkarius wanders around the full ship interior in VR, looks outside at Raxler hovering over the Earth-like planetary port with weather effects and ray tracing, and wonders, does Commander Vulkarius know what Commander Vulkarius is talking about? Well, it turns out, yes, that is indeed the case. So for the past couple of briefings, basically I've been signal boosting Operation Thunderstruck, the Re-Aegis drive to rescue biostorage capsules off the Titans for Counter-Strike progress. Well, as everyone who reads news from the Pilots Federation will have seen, one day after the last broadcast, and after many of the rescuees for the week were delivered, due to the size of the Thargoid-controlled regions around the remaining Titans, the number of counter-strikes is abnormally high, and pod rescues are more powerful than intended, so maximum systems affected by this is now 15. So there we go. Well done to all at Re-Aegis for the huge effort it's had, a huge effect it's had over the past few weeks. I understand they're all far from lackadaisical, and Operation Thunderstruck is still going to continue, just with the result of a more modest weekly head start, of course. A titty nope, if you will. Aside from that, system strengths still appear to be very high, as tested by Imperial Navy Intervention and Rescue earlier last week. Meanwhile, Titan Raijin has lost its final Spire site, and not yet decided to retreat to fund any reactivations. So progress there is probably going to become fairly slow. We have 6 control systems this week with ports under attack. Those can be taken more. Those can be taken more easily with restock available. But aside from those and the alerts and invasions, probably the best thing to do for now is fly across to Titan Castillo and bomb the Spire sites there instead. And finally, breaking news. Barely an hour ago, we had some unconfirmed reports of megaship movements scheduled for next Thursday, including an Azimuth megaship, a Sirius megaship, and at least one of the Aegis rescue megaships. So while this lot were dropping seams all over the Hutton News, I jumped there myself to check it out, Supercruise overcharged all the way back to Studio 5, and I can confirm the previously unconfirmed report that rescue ship Cornwallis in the Maximi system does indeed have a jump scheduled for V886 Centauri. Oh, and apparently Aegis seem to think the Thargoids are going to do a counter-attack of some sort at some point. So either they are moving important equipment away from the war despite suspecting an attack, or they know something about an attack deeper in the bubble but aren't telling us. So either way, Aegis needs to get it together. So I guess that wasn't really breaking news after all. And that's it.
Well, thank you very much, Vulkarius. That was short and sweet, and so there might be or might not be a counterattack, and there might or might not be connected to big megaship movements. Wait and see. But if there is, I'm willing to bet there might be, Flossy, CGs in the future, possibly.
Might be.
Maybe.
Could be.
Apparently, yeah. It's apparently a congregation of 3 megaships in V886 Centauri. So that and if it's
are they rescue
Sirius,
megaships or attack megaships?
One is so there's an Aegis megaship. That's the one I mentioned. Which one? Oh, Cornwallis. That was the one. Yeah, and there's one of the Azimuth megaships and one of the Sirius megaships. I don't know which. I can't remember or don't know which.
It's a galactic one-upmanship. I'm going to send mine. Well, I've got two.
Well, it could be. It's like a meeting of some sort. Maybe there might be some sort of goal, but or there might be an attack around there that they aren't telling us. So
or
it's
a massive
one of those
own
things.
goal like the HIP 22-460.
Yeah.
Won't be doing that one again in a hurry, will we? Okay, well, look, I'm going to play your outro in that case, and I'm going to hand over to Amelia and the Apology Officer. So this is the end tune.
So, do we have a word of the week?
We do have a word of the week, and word of the week this week is impignarate.
And what does that mean?
It means to pledge, pawn, or mortgage.
And can you use it in a sentence, please?
Here we go. We tried to impignarate from Cubicle 3, but we weren't allowed. Porton Down showed some interest, though.
And for those interested, the spelling and the meaning will be buzzing across your screens on the headline as soon as Mooncake gets off my mouse.
And while Mooncake's doing that, what do you call an anteater who isn't Jeff but labels everything?
Oh, I don't know about an anteater, but my boss likes sticking labels on everything in work.
You
Especially
sure
cables.
Sure he's not an anteater? He might be a bit of an aardmark.
Flossy, please, Flossy, save us from the aardvarks.
Yeah. All right.
Aardvark!
Aardvark! Forgot that.
Universe is in trouble. Bug infestations in the bubble. Your home station's burned rubble. What on earth can we do? Interstellar
Initiative.
Let Flossy tell you what it is. Then you can get involved with this. You should listen to what Flossy says. Interstellar Initiative. Flossy tells us what she thinks it is. Then you can get involved with this. Now you should listen to what Flossy says.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. There aren't any CGs again this week, I'm afraid, but they should be back soon, TM. That's all for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
And now it's time, hopefully, for the Galnet News Digest, probably with spoilers about Vulkarius' bit. But no, Vulkarius got there first.
Galnet News Update, 12th of September, 3310. War is brewing, and it's within the human factions off the bubble. After an escalating number of taunts between the factions of Dangus Investigation and Ghost Giraffe, culminated in an indiscriminately violent and bloody carpet bombing in Bologna's last week, tensions have been rising, and radio chatter about an underground fight night have begun to circulate among galactic backchannels. Galactic authorities have issued a state of emergency in the Darawucha system for Sunday, September the 15th, when the supposed rumble will take place, and are urging local residents to evacuate until the threat can be assessed. Faction members Spatula 007 and Mars of Dangus Investigations and Ghost Giraffe respectively will be joined by co-hosts Tokoso and Barefoot in what appears to be a fight to the deaths. in unregulated foot-to-foot combat on Sunday, September the 15th, and it's to be broadcast. Galnet News Digest reached out to Dangus Investigations for comment, and they replied with this statement. Mars and Beefoot are gonna get wrecked. Mush respect. What's up? Then there were 2 minutes of moist slapping sounds as if someone were passionately licking the phone receiver before they thankfully ended the call. Galnet News Digest has also been issued with a short video statement. It goes like this.
Are you ready to rumble? On Sunday, September the 15th, 3310, 4 elite athletes will be bringing their beef to the table to end a blood feud which has torn the galaxy apart. These heinous criminal lords will be fighting for their very lives and, of course, their dubious reputations. So come and watch 5 rounds of melee, taser, sniper, pistol, and, of course, a good old bar fight. Find us in Darawucha on Sunday, 1800 hours UTC. Or watch this fight on pay-per-view. Not really. Watch on YouTube, but beware. This rumble could shake your world apart! This Sunday!
Well,
that wasn't our usual Galnet, was it? It had bonus bits. What day was that? I have no idea what was going on there. There was an advert for shooty things on Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh my goodness, it's all going off on screen. There we go. Crikey. Quick, put something safe up. There's a geezer on screen. Well, thank you very much to Beetlejude and Wotherspoon for Sunday. All that's stuck in my head is Sunday. I don't know what or where. I'll have to go back and watch the video on demand. Actually, there was a mention before we go towards the end of the show about the song that was played earlier. No, we have to put a competition together as soon as the Mandalay is available.
Good to me.
For the best version of a video to that tune featuring the Mandalay once the Mandalay is available. And we're going to have to put up a special prize of some sort. So we're going to have to think about a prize for that. Do we know when did they say they were thinking of releasing the Mandalay to early release? October sometime.
Just October was the... they didn't
October.
say whether it was early or late October, but at the same time as Power Play 2, correct.
Right. So in October, when we get our hands on it, we're going to be sort of opening up a competition for best videos for the Mandalay. We'll probably leave it open for a while. I don't know how long is the usual gap between when they release it to the public for ARCs
So for the Python Mark II, that was 3 months. If there's a October, so it's August.
It'll be
September,
Christmas when
It will have been 2 months since the Type 8 in August. We don't know whether they'll keep running the Type 8 for 3 months and then open that up in November, or whether they'll just open it up in October and change it for the Mandalay.
Okay.
It'd be cool if they do, because then if they go down to 2 months, then the Mandalay will be in time for Christmas for everyone. So.
Well, that'd be quite a nice present. But anyway, I think we're going to open up a competition for the best video for the Mandalay. We're not going to play it again this week. We might play it again, but you can find it. If you go to the website media.forthemug.com, and if you scroll down to our songs, you can find lots and lots of our songs and old shows and some of the sketches we've done over the years. But if you go to media.forthemug.com, Amelia, are you able to put that on a ticky ticker going across the screen?
A ticky ticker.
Yes.
Right. Let me work on that.
So you can get hold of it, but if you want to get your hands on it, you can actually download it as well, and lots of our other tunes, including throw a coin at your picture and Never Gonna Give Lave Up. Media.forthemug.com.
I would also point out that if they do go down to 2 months and get the Mandalay out in December, then that would give them time to produce the fourth ship, which they said they'd put out this year.
And they meant this year, not this financial year, didn't they?
No, that's what they said. I could always change that, but that's what they said.
Yep. So anyway, media.forthemug.com is the location if you want to get any of our past tunes and past sketches and bits and bobs and old news shows and things if you want to. Get yourself a copy of that once the Mandalay is available and get creating the most exciting video you can do of the Mandalay in time with that tune. You have our absolute permission to take the tune if you're making an elite video for it, and then you can you can put it up on our Facebook page, up on our Discord, or if you really want, you can email us a link when it's available at itookpart@huttonorbital.com. Other than that, last bit of notes, ECM. We had a site visit. Little Grey and I boarded some Apex taxis and went to a mysterious location, a new location for 2025. And we had a site visit.
Different to the old one.
Yeah, it's different to the old one. It solves many things. Now, PitCon and Burr are doing their thing, and so we're not going to be going live with anything like tickets soon, obviously, while they're launching their event, because that would be jolly rude of us, and we don't do jolly rude. So we will be announcing more details slightly later in the year, but it is all confirmed. It's all booked. We've got it all sorted. So it's definitely happening. And the only thing we can say is that we are moving the dates 1 week later next year than we were this year. So it's going to be the weekend of the 16th of August. So if you're looking at your diaries and putting things in pencil, that kind of stuff, 16th of August. But other than that, we're not announcing tickets or venues or anything else until later. And if you want your spring fix of stuff, I'll just keep your eyes peeled for other announcements about spring events coming up. But it's exciting. It's bigger. The bar's enormous. It's got many taps. It's got a proper bar. It's got great staff. It's got loads more space. It's got 2 side rooms, and they're actually attached to the main room this time. It's going to be exciting. But if you want to pencil things in your diary, stick it in there so you don't do a Palantir and book a holiday on that weekend. And we will be releasing more details slightly later in the year. It certainly won't be till at least November before we say more about the wheres and whens. But it isn't quite as far south, so anybody from the north and wherever else will have a little bit less distance to travel as well. Other than that, has anybody got any other business before we go to the credits? Mooncake, have you got anything to say?
No? I think she just wants to say for the mug.
Does she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I don't think she's going to say it, though. She wants me to say it.
She wants you to say it.
Not loud, though.
Not loud. Well, I've just told Mr. Dusty that Mooncake keeps sitting on the mouse. Mr. Dusty just says, how appropriate, a mouse. How original. Right. Thanks, Mr. Dusty. Go on then.
For the mug.
Mug.
Well, I fired up my sidewinder, feeling mighty bold. Heard tales of anacondas worth their weight in gold. Said I'll head to Hutton Orbital and make my fortune grand. But little did I know, it weren't quite as I planned. Oh, I flew to Hutton Orbital in my little ship so tight, through the void of space on that long dark night. But when I arrived, what did I see? Just a little old mug staring back at me. They said, come to Hutton, son, and get your big reward. An anaconda ship, you'll be the envy of the board. But as I landed gently, my dreams began to fade. For all I got was a mug and the memories we made. Oh, I flew to Hutton Orbital in my little ship so tight, through the void of space on that long dark night. But when I arrived, what did I see? Just a little old mug staring back at me. Now I ain't one for complaining about the way things go, but I sure thought I'd strike it rich at that Hutton show. So I'll raise my mug up high and I'll toast to the sky, for the mug will cry as the stars roll by. Oh, I flew to Hutton Orbital in my little ship so tight, through the void of space on that long dark night. But when I arrived, what did I see? Just a little old mug staring back at me. So here's to all you pilots, dreaming big and bold. Just remember, at Hutton, your fortune might not unfold, but take it in your stride and enjoy the ride, for the mug will shout with country pride. For the mug.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everyone's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?